Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Below Average Nerds Expansion Pack Podcast, or BAN Expansion Pack Podcast. I am your host, Tanner, and with me, and will always be with me, is Sam.
Hey, this is different.
Yeah, this is a little different. This feels weird.
It feels I'm a little uncomfortable, but we'll get through this.
Okay, we'll get through it. Well, first, I guess we should go over about how we're going to go about this podcast. It's not going to be necessarily a weekly thing. We're just kind of going to release audio, some shorter audio, not full-on podcasts, just whenever we feel the bite in the butt to record something.
I mean, that's already kind of a lie, but, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Well, how is that a lie?
What are we going to be doing in a week or two?
I meant most of the time. Okay.
Most.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time, we're not going to be pumping out these, podcast-length podcasts. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
These are going to be shorter, more concise. You can listen to it on a drive, whatever. Listen to it while you're typing. I don't know. Just do it when you want. And today's the first edition. We will be covering a game that me and Sam have kind of fell in love with, and it's not even released. And I'm talking about Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Just Sam, you had the opportunity to play it a bit longer than I did. I jumped on the bandwagon a little bit later than you did, so you just want to go over your impressions of it. How did it feel in beta?
In beta, it felt pretty swanky. The concept of Rocket League, in case you don't know, is essentially you're playing soccer with Hot Wheel cars, and that's pretty awesome. It's pretty much my
the whole
childhood
premise of the game.
That's the whole premise.
It's awesome.
And it is my imaginations of a child brought to life, and it's just a super fun, physics-based, sports, quote-unquote, game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't describe it, but, I have a smile on my face every time I play the game. It's just one of those games, it's not super colorful, but the colors pop, the blue and the orange, and when you score, the explosion. The explosion, when you score, kind of reminds me of Griffball. I don't know how much Xbox you play, but reminds me of I used to play Griffball all the time. So, I mean, it's awesome to just kind of like a throwback. And then playing with friends, and it gets crazy. You can play, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. I mean, it's crazy. And it's just chaos everywhere if you get, a 3v3 going or 4v4. It's just awesome game.
I've actually forgotten about Griffball until you just brought it back up.
Oh, really?
And that's bringing back some fond memories. The good old days. Playing multiplayer with all your buds. It's just... Okay, so how do you think it works as a sports game?
As a sports game? Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't really look at it as a sports game. Just because, I mean, it's way different than anything else on the market, for one. And two, I don't think you can look at something as a sports game if it's not a real sport. Now, don't get me wrong. Seeing, NASCAR drivers trying to get a big ball into a goal and then the goal exploded once you scored, be awesome. I would pay, I would hand whoever thought of the idea blank checks. But, I mean, as a game about a, fictional sport, it's awesome. I mean, I don't have a smile on my face when I'm playing, Madden or MLB or NCAA. I don't have a smile on my face when I'm playing. I'm serious in those games, but this game, even though I'm serious and, it makes you crack a sweat every once in a while, I have a smile on my face. I'm just laughing, and, I mean, it's great.
So, what makes you get a smile on your face? Because I have my own feelings towards why the game brings me joy, but I just kind of wanted to hear your thing on that.
Well, see, I always played with, my friends when we were playing this. I guess it was just, between everybody getting excited when you score, it makes me kind of feel like a kid again. I mean, I'm not an old man now, I'm 19, but it makes me feel like a child, 5 or 6, because I used to play with Hot Wheels all the time. And it's just cool to see that brought to life in a video game and something other than, okay, we're racing. Because, I mean, and then, like, with the crazy physics, like driving around the dome, and you can get upside down, and you can go super fast, you know, make cars explode upon impact. It's just, I mean, it's just joy, pure joy in a video game.
See, my thing was, I keep on calling it quote-unquote sports games because that's why I like it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Why I have so much fun with it is because the game has this own, like, meta game sort of thing going with it. Because it's not a real sport, you're almost creating your own strategy. You're used to watching, in Madden, you're used to watching NFL teams on Sunday try to execute their game plan, but you're executing your own game plan for a sport that's never been played. And I think that's really interesting. And half the time, people are just running at the ball, just ramming into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I was liking to swerve back and try to catch people off guard when they knock the ball out of this the rugby scrum. And I thought that was fun. And to get that goal and perfectly hit that ball into a corner where they can't get it, pure joy.
I also liked how people started implementing, once it got further into the beta, they were, with cars, essentially doing, like, bicycle kicks and Pele's. I mean, it was crazy just to see, and, like, there's not a Pele button. Like, you have to physically, I mean, there's a few buttons you have to press in order to do that, and just that the community has already discovered, like, hey, this isn't just you driving around and hit the ball. There's actually a little bit more strategy involved in that, and that's what I like about it a lot, is like people are discovering how to do, or discovered how to do new things in it. Like, I mean, you can barrel roll into the ball, and like during the scrum, like you said, you can either go for the ball or you can, you know, just cause like huge mayhem, and it's crazy. I have a smile on my face right now just talking about the game.
It has an effect on people.
I mean, yeah. I can't really explain it other than that, why it makes me smile, but every time I talk about Rocket League, it makes me smile.
It's a weird thing. You probably should get that checked out.
Yeah, go to the doctor. Well, I am going to nursing school. Maybe I'll figure it out eventually.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. I think really it's releasing this summer. We don't have an official date yet, but the Twitter account, the official Rocket League Twitter account, has said that there's an announcement coming in the next week, which would be this week when you're listening to it, talking about Rocket League. So hopefully we get some sort of announcement of a release date, because I would really like for this to come out in, you know, June, mid-June, late June, as opposed to July or even slip into August.
Yeah, that'd be the hope.
Yeah.
I think I heard it's coming in under $20.
I would pay, being honest, I would pay probably full price for this.
That's because you're dumb.
Well, listen. I mean, a game that makes me happy, I'll pay full price for.
See, I am from a different school of thought, and I understand that ideology as far as video games go, but I just can't fathom paying full price for this game. It's a great game. It's awesome. And if it had more beef to it, sure. But
well, you have to think the full game is going to have more beef to it, as you say.
Well, it's not going to have $40 of more beef to it. I just don't see how that's physically possible.
Oh, well, I mean, true. But, I mean, really, when you think about it, mini games don't have $60 of beef to them now.
That's fair. That's why I usually wait till they're less than $60.
Yeah, okay. But
see, you buy them day one.
Yes. If I want a game, I'm gonna buy it when I want it. So.
And I'm just not.
I
don't have that kind of money.
Like that. Yeah.
And I don't have that kind of desire.
And see, that's why I think a game like Rocket League is really going to bring an eye to more of the indie scene. People are going to be like, oh, this awesome game is one of the best games I've played this year, and it only cost me $20. Why would I pay $60 for Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty when I can pay, $60 on this PlayStation Store and get 3 games, like 3 potentially really good games. So I mean, maybe Rocket League will kind of be like that gateway to people. Well, they're like, okay, this game's awesome. I've gotten my money's worth out of this. Let me see what else is on this PlayStation Store. And they discover, other hype PlayStation Store games. If they have a PS3, they can get Journey. They can get, Flower. Any of those games. It's just crazy times we're living in.
Yeah, I think the future, what this game I think does so well is it applies to the Reddit demographic very well. And there's a new era where GIFs are hot as fire.
Yeah.
And this game is pure GIF making quality.
You can, and this is also where I think the PlayStation Share feature comes in spectacularly, because people can be like, look at this awesome goal I scored, and just upload like maybe a 30, 45 second clip of their game where they score like an amazing goal, or they make a comeback victory, or like you said, they make GIFs, or even streaming it. I mean, I loved watching this game. That's actually how I found out. Well, I was like, well, I want to see what this game's about. I checked it out on Twitch, and I'm like, oh, this game looks awesome. I have to play it now. So that's where I think the PlayStation Share button is like, okay, this is cool, and you can just share it immediately. Like, it's not like even a few years ago where it was like, okay, now I've got done recording with my, Hopage, and now I gotta export it and do all this stuff and edit it and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just there now.
Yeah, this is a sequel to, or a spiritual successor to Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars that was on the PS3, and I had never heard of it. And I think this game, Rocket League, is coming out at the right time with this feature of the PS4, and being able to share videos, share footage easily allows this game to really, really shine. And I think that's going to be something we see in the future with indie games in general, as people are going to try to take advantage of this share nature of people.
Oh, definitely. I'm like you. I never heard of that game. I didn't own a PS3, and I don't know if it was on 360. I'm pretty sure they were staying on Sony consoles. So
yeah, I did have PS3.
Yeah,
I heard zilch.
Yeah, and see, that's another cool thing. Like, they're marketing their game well. They've done 2 open betas, or semi-open. Anybody gets an invite. You just have to apply for one. And that's what I really like about it. Is like, they kind of remind me. Their marketing strategy reminds me a little bit of Adult Swim games, kind of like what they're doing over there. They use GIFs. They're not like a super serious company, even though they're serious where they need to be serious, but they're interactive with their fans, they're doing stuff for the fans, they're listening to fans' feedback, and I kind of feel like Adult Swim Games also does that as well. And I feel like that's where the direction of all these indie developers, or these small name developers need to do. Like, you don't need to be like, Phil Fish. You don't need to be like a dickhead and be like, yeah, my game's the greatest game of all time. But you need to be like these guys and be like, okay, we're listening to fans' feedback. Here's what we're going to add, and we're going to tweak what you said, and we're going to do this. Now, I'm not saying listen to everybody, because you can't do that. You'll have a convoluted game, and it will suffer because of it. But just listening to some major feedbacks, like Rocket League has a season mode, which I think is going to be amazing. Even if you're not playing multiplayer, playing by yourself, season, it's going to be intense. And just...
Yeah, I think that's where the game is going to have to... Well, because no one's seen that. No one's seen the computer. The AI.
Yeah.
AI, correct?
Yeah, nobody has seen the AI. So I'm not really worried about it, because I've seen on the Rocket League Reddit, people talking about add difficulties, and I think that was going to be a thing, but also kind of lets you tweak with the physics, kind of like how you can tweak some things in Madden and NCAA, like make pass efficiency 75%, and it starts at 50%, but make it 75%. Maybe make gravity 0.8 times more or 0.8 times less. Make it make explosions last longer, make respawn time longer, yada yada. Create yourself own challenges through season mode. I think that would be really cool. But I just love everything they're doing with this game.
Do you love it though?
Do I love it? Yeah, I would say I love everything they're doing with this game, because everything I have not seen one thing. I haven't seen one bad thing said about this game anywhere you look. NeoGAF, Reddit, Twitter, like the usual places. I have not seen anybody bitch about this game from the game standpoint. Which in the age of the internet, finding a general consensus good game is far to none. So, I mean, it's just cool to see, I guess, how did this happen. And I hope, we can look back when, the PS4 is ending its life and, like, we're naming off great indie titles. I hope Rocket League can maintain this and be like, oh, you remember, Rocket League and, like, Resogun and, blah, blah, blah.
What did you say to me?
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
But I mean,
we're rambling there.
How do you feel? I have no clue what you're saying. Here, got a question for you. How do you feel this will do competitively? Because obviously it is kind of like a sports game. So how do you think this will look on a competitive scene?
I'm not as into competitive scenes as you.
Well, that's why I was asking you, because I was going to weigh in.
So it's more of a casual competitive thing. I think they would have to be supreme physics to really nail that, because everything's so fine-tuned and competitive nature. But with this, I think it's perfect for setting up your local tournament at your GameStops or your other game shops or just your friend's house. And hopefully they have a tournament mode for online.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it's like super competitive nature, more just casual competitive nature.
See, that's along the lines I was thinking. I was thinking maybe Psyonix starts like a Rocket League essentially, where like teams can sign up, and it's not super competitive, but they offer maybe like exclusive car skins or maybe exclusive colors, exclusive wheels, nothing just completely visual, but to show like, hey, I won this. I won, Psyonix's, official Rocket League month 1 or something. I just think something like that would work. I don't think this is anything that could be super competitive, like, MLG anything, but I definitely think it can work on that level. Again, similar to Griffball, how those guys started at Griffball leagues, and now there's Griffball leagues everywhere that you can join.
And Psyonix is the developer.
Yes, Psyonix is the developer, and
at Psyonix Studios on Twitter.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. But
I feel like if just drop their name a lot, they'll probably know. But
yeah, just in case. I would like to note that today the trophies came out for the game, and the trophies don't really give any hints with what's going to be in the game, something we don't know about. There's one like watch a save file in replay mode. I guess that'd be the biggest one, because I guess everybody may not know there's a replay mode built into the game. And
that's nifty.
Yeah, so, and it does say here for drill sergeant, complete every practice drill, and it says in parentheses any difficulty. So I guess that assumes there's going to be multiple difficulties for you in whatever. For your season mode.
I don't think there's any major feature that we don't know.
Yeah. Now, here's the only thing I think is interesting. Pitch Veteran is play a total of 20 games across any game mode. So maybe that's assuming there's going to be different game modes aside from the 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or the season mode. Maybe there's going to be some other type thing they add. I would personally like to see something on like a floating dome where like you could drive off. It's not in a dome, I guess, but it's like an open field, but you could drive off. So you really have to think strategic.
What? I guess why do you think that would mean what you're saying?
Well,
you're saying that there's different game modes outside the ones we know.
Well, no, I'm saying I think it's possible that there's different game modes. Because I do remember, I feel like during the beta it says they were going to add game modes. But aside from season mode, which we already knew about.
Okay.
So I'm hoping, and I hate that I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure they said all the DLC for this game would be free. Maybe?
Yep.
Yeah. So again, that's also something really cool. To me, they're like, hey, you're supporting our game, we're gonna, support you. Thanks. And they, give you free add-ons to their game.
Well, essentially, it's also saying that you're supporting the game, and they're going to support the game. And that's something I think is key.
Yeah.
That if there's DLC, that means they're still going to be putting effort into this game and not just moving on to the next project. But I think is a major problem in some other games.
Yes. Like, obviously, in some indie titles, you see, like, they come out with the game, and, I mean, that's it. Like, one of my favorite examples, one of my favorite indie games ever, maybe my favorite indie game ever, is Super Meat Boy. And even though it received multiple releases, and each release kind of had something a little bit new with it, it never really added anything to current versions. Like, I own it on PC and 360, and they never really added, like, hey, here's, like, an extra world or something. I really feel like Team Meat kind of dropped the ball with that one, because, I mean, Super Meat Boy, it is a cult classic, maybe even a classic, but I kind of feel like they dropped the ball a little bit with that one. Because people would, I mean, of course free DLC is always nice, but people would have paid for Super Meat Boy DLC. So.
Well, sometimes I don't think they're going for that. I don't think they're going for these big next part of the game. They're just going to add something and give you something to sink your teeth in, not something major, especially if it's free.
Yeah, I feel like the DLC with Rocket League, I mean, I feel like the biggest sort of expansion we'll probably get is maybe an addition of a new mode. But I feel like most of the time it's probably just going to be like more cars that you can customize and such.
Yeah, I think I don't mind that. I feel like that's safe to assume at this point.
Yeah. So I think that would be really beneficial for them, because then people, if they, say, added a new game mode for one of these free DLCs, a couple of months down the line, when people have started, backing off a little bit of the game, it will bring them back in, and two, it will, drive sales. Because people will be like, oh, all my friends are playing Rocket League again. Oh, it's only $15 on the PlayStation Store. I'm going to buy that right now. And people buy it.
I hope so.
Yeah. I hope this game, does incredibly well.
Oh, I'm with you.
So.
It's just a super fun experience.
Yeah. We never even got the chance to play the game with each other. Like, I was always playing with a separate group of people, and I don't know who you played with.
I didn't play with anyone. So you had a different experience than I did.
So you played
I was just
solo.
I was just solo.
Yeah.
I was playing by myself, enjoying it the whole time. I don't need
companionship.
Nobody in my life.
Ain't need no companionship.
No, I think it was just fun to get in there and not know who I was teaming with almost.
I feel like that's another aspect to the game that, you can build a team with your friends, but even getting in there with randoms kind of adds another element to the game that's not otherwise there. It's like, oh, how am I going to communicate? Oh, these three guys don't have mics, so there's really no need to communicate with them, so we're pretty much just playing, death.
Death.
Yeah.
It's game. Yeah, I think it's one of those. The perfect thing for any multiplayer game is easy to pick up, hard to master sort of gameplay. And I think Rocket League does that real well, especially when you see someone flying about doing their Pele kicks, doing their backpedal kicks, and crawling up walls and bouncing it off to the other side of the map.
Yeah. Like, so I've seen some insane goals already. Like, I can only imagine what they're gonna look like once the full game releases, and like there's bigger domes or smaller domes, there's different kind of cars. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Especially maybe in custom games you can tinker with the physics, like I said earlier. We're looking at some truly crazy stuff.
Physics could change mid-game. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Maybe even a create your own dome sort of thing. You can put like the goals at the top of the dome instead of, on the ground.
How would you do that?
You can tinker with the physics, essentially make your car could stay in the air for longer. I don't know. Like, do something with the gravity where you're essentially in the air for a long time.
How would you? Okay, I'm not gonna delve in.
And then your jumps and stuff can keep you in the air, but you'd have to strategically use them. You feeling it a little bit?
Not at all.
Okay.
That's okay.
I was just
That's okay.
spitballing. I think that would be cool, doing something like that.
Well then.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited for this game. Would love to see a June release date as opposed to a July or August release date, but obviously I would want the game to be polished. So, you know, I guess the later the better, but I really want it soon.
I mean, it's pretty polished right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could have told me the beta version. I mean, yeah, the beta version was a little barren, but you could have told me that was the full game, and I would have been content. Like, if you released that for a $10 full game, I would have bought it.
You're easy to please.
I am. I'm really easy to please. Just make a fun game that I'll smile all the way through, and I'll play it.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm really excited to check this out. This is going to be one of those day one purchases.
Yeah, this is a good time to release this game would be right after all the E3 hype, because, if Sony doesn't include this in their indie showcase, they're messing up somewhere. Somebody in the video editing department is messing up real bad.
Oh, I bet this will be in there.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be in there. Any other Rocket League takes you want to talk about?
I'm just kind of excited to see what happens when we talk about competitively. I'm excited to see what happens when people are actually working together, because this is the kind of game that it gets hectic, but there's always something that a team could be able to do that a group of randoms couldn't.
Oh yeah, like even when I was playing with my friends, we could be like, okay, you do this, you do this. I mean, there is an element of strategy in the game, but it's not necessary, which is something I really like about the game.
Oh no, it's not necessary, and I think it's really exciting to see when you have a 4-on-4 match in a big area, and you have people actually playing defense actively. That's going to be exciting to see. See them do some Twitch streams, hopefully, through Rocket League and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a fun time. I hope Twitch kind of picks up on it. I feel like Twitch would really benefit this game if maybe like some of your bigger Twitch casters get wind of this game. They're like, okay, I'm going to play it, and you know, I feel like it's going to be a game like that. Like we know about it. You know, there's obviously a lot of people that already know about it, but it can only get bigger if that happens.
Yeah, I think people like kind of funny games is going to cling to something like this.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a perfect game for one of their, you know, post-podcast.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot about, like, IDARB.
Yeah.
That's sort of not a sport, really, but it plays
like a sport.
Exactly. And it creates all these fun, hectic moments, but you probably couldn't ever play it super competitively. You can only play it casually competitively, but that'll still get you all sweating up and trying to score on each other.
Yeah.
So, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just good stuff all around. Good year so far. So I guess that's it. You can check us out at below avgnerds.wordpress.com, where we are publishing some posts, some articles, some columns, features, whatever. Soon to be doing a little game previews, some game reviews. Also going to be doing a lot of E3 stuff, such as a pre-E3 podcast. We're going to do a huge post show. We're going to be writing about E3. It's just going to be crazy fun times.
Do you want to play your extra Twitter?
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea. You can follow both of us at below avgnerds on Twitter. You can follow me at Tanner1495 on Twitter.com, and Sam?
You can follow me at SammyJ_D.
And that's a wrap.